Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of Avenue A Live, where we talk acting, networking, and the industry. I'm your host, Kelsey Bentz, and for those of you who are tuning in for the first time, welcome. This is a platform that I created coming out of my undergrad in the pandemic to stay connected with fellow artists in the industry and to learn from them, as well as to create an accessible resource for other people who are pursuing careers in the arts. So welcome to the show. I hope everyone had a good week. Happy Friday. I have a really exciting guest on today. His name is Kalonjee Gallimore. And Kalanji and I, we were in a show together right before the pandemic hit. We literally closed the weekend before everyone was sent home. So I'm really excited to have him on the show today. He's fantastic, and I'm excited to see what he has to say. So a little bit about Kalonjee. He is a New York-based actor, singer, dancer, born in Harlem, New York, and raised in Atlanta, Georgia. He's currently pursuing a BFA in musical theater at NYU Tisch School of the Arts with a triple minor in producing, business of entertainment, media and technology, and public policy and management. Kalonjee discovered his love for performing at the age of 8. However, he started taking his training and career seriously upon being accepted into one of Atlanta's top performing arts high schools, DeKalb School of the Arts. He worked closely with some amazing regional theaters, including the Alliance Theater in Atlanta, Georgia, Flat Rock Playhouse in Flat Rock, North Carolina, and Surflight Theater in Beach Haven, New Jersey. Kalonjee believes theater can allow audiences to access emotions previously inaccessible and verbalize insights previously impossible to render into words. And that power is what calls him to keep creating visceral, thought-provoking work. So without further ado, let's welcome Kalonjee to the show. Hey.
Hello.
Thanks for being on the show.
Thanks for having me.
It's so nice to see you. We were just backstage and we were talking about how we haven't seen each other literally since February. Hey, Brandon. Thanks for tuning in. Brandon and I also. Oh, you're roommates with Brandon?
Yes.
Oh my gosh, that's so great. I did Drowsy with him last year. That's crazy. Small world. Thanks for tuning in, Brandon. And for reference, this is a little photo I wanted to show of when Kalonjee and I were in Promenade together. So that's me right front and center in that cute little outfit, and then Kalonjee is on the right. Super fun. Okay. Yes, prisoner chic. Hey. So let's just jump right in. I'm really interested to talk to you today because you are someone, ever since I met you, I was just all right, this person has drive. This person has a vision for what he wants for his career, and it just seems so clear that you just sort of knew what you wanted, and that is so such a great quality in an artist, I think. And so I'm wondering, what is your definition of networking, and what does that word mean to you?
Yeah, I mean, when I feel like when oftentimes when artists like talk about networking, it kind of makes me icky because
Yes.
um, I feel like some people's perceptions of networking is more so just like superficial connections and superficial, like, yeah, I'm just gonna, Facebook friend someone, then that's networking, if they're, I mean, I guess in a LinkedIn social network sense, that is networking. You have a
Right.
channel to like chat with people, but I consider networking creating like lasting, strong relationships with people in our industry and just people in general. But when we're talking about networking for theater, just creating those, relationships with actors, creating those relationships with casting directors, artistic directors, all that jazz.
And what does creating the relationship sort of entail for you?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it can't just be transactional. It can't just be like,
Mm,
hey, hire me, or hey, it has to be like, I want to better you as much as you want to better me, or and like let's like climb up this mountain together. And I don't know, just like genuinely being interested in what in your collaborators' lives, and not
mm,
just a who can get me to the top, but like how can I like better know the people who are, in my industry and who are inevitably going to be like going the same route and, trying to do the same thing that I'm doing. So yeah.
right. Yeah, I've been struggling with the word networking because obviously, it's talked about so much in our profession, and I think coming from NYU, like we both, I'm sure you know this, but it's talked about all the time. Like you have to network and you have to like put yourself out there, and I always struggled with that because I just felt like some types of networking that are encouraged, just like you said, feel kind of icky. And I wasn't sure, like it felt superficial.
Yeah.
So I've been trying to figure out, what's the best way to network and meet people and build relationships while like avoiding the ickiness and the superficiality that can come along with it.
Yeah, I feel like if people know that you're only associated with them because you might do something, or if you're only associated with them to get something, then that's just going to turn them off. And when they like think of a future project, or when they want to like, your name isn't going to be on the top of their list if you're just like there to leech off of someone.
That's so true. That's the tea. Cool. So you're about halfway through NYU, right? Like you're an
Halfway
incoming.
through,
Yeah.
actually halfway through.
And you have done so much in your time there, which is just incredible. I mean, we were just in that main stage production last year as a sophomore, and you had summer gigs this summer too. So, as a smart, driven art student who's halfway through school and on your way into like the real industry, what advice are you following, and what advice have you heard that you're just purposefully leaving behind?
Oh, yes. Ooh. I so advice I'm following, definitely. As I have gone like higher and like more doing more professional things, the people have just been nicer. And so I think the best advice I've been given is just be someone wants to.
Presley. That's not a bad idea. Kalonjee, we should talk about that later.
Let's go. I don't know what the lag is for this, but
Oh, it's so bad.
got it. Um, just being not like being someone wants to work with again, like being someone a castmate would want to work with again, being someone that a director, just being nice. I feel like if you can be the most talented person, but someone who can do the job and is just nice to work with, and you're gonna be spending a good amount of time, especially on those production contracts, with that person, with that assembling that cast.
Uh-oh, I think we lost him. Shoot. Maybe he'll come back. I second the duet. I know that's such a good idea, but the maybe we'll record one and post it maybe if Kalanji's down. I think he's having some internet issues, but he'll come back to us in a second. But you guys, duets over live streaming I've found are like insanely difficult to do, especially live because the lag is like insane. Oh, there he is. He's back. Hi.
All right.
All of a sudden you're just like frozen.
Yeah, what was I saying? What was the last thing you said?
You were talking about being a nice person.
Yeah, and I think that that's what's gonna, help form lasting relationships, and that's what's going to, be the thing that makes it from a job to like a career, a sustainable career in the arts. If people know you're good to work with, if people, like working with you. And I think most of that just comes from being a kind, considerate person. And yeah, I think that's just good for life.
Yeah.
But especially
I think you're right. And it's not overrated. I mean, like, I think that that's what I hear from people most is just like literally be a nice person and you'll do fine.
yes.
Which seems so simple, but I don't know.
Not for everyone.
Right? I think we all have worked with people. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so I'm interested, like, what is maybe like a few things that pieces of advice that you've heard that you're just like not taking?
Well, I think it's great to, stick with your type, especially going out and when we're first, going out and doing doing the real thing, we're probably going to be playing close to our type. But I think going out and not letting that limit, especially as like a black male, a black queer male, like not letting that type or that one thing limit the opportunities that I perceive that are mine. And so instead of being like smart and strategic, just going like, okay, even though that's not the conventional, way someone would cast this role, I'm still going to go out for it, And I think that's something I'm trying to leave behind.
Is that something that you've been told, like, that you should look at the things that are just your type and just pursue
Yes.
that? Interesting. Yeah.
Also, I just was reading a podcast. I was listening to a podcast about specialization over a general breadth of knowledge, and I feel, in higher education, it's we're getting very specialized and doing a very not finite, but very specific task. And especially for musical theater, it's just like these are the very specific things that you're trying to do. But I feel like thinking more broadly, like having the broad interests, having like doing business, doing like other activities to widen your perspective will make you not only like a fuller, I think it'll make you a fuller human, which will make you feel fuller, like a more in-depth artist. And I think specialization versus broadening is a cool thing as well. Yeah.
That's interesting. Yeah, and I mean, you're triple majoring, is that right? You have
minoring.
Triple minoring. Okay, so you have musical theater as your major, and then you have 3 minors.
Yeah,
That's
I'm doing
really incredible.
Media and technology, producing, and public policy and management.
And what made you want to, like broaden your horizons so much? Because if I understand, like you do want to be a performer, right? So what was it in you who was like that was like, I want to do these things too. I think it's amazing. I'm just curious, like what the thought process was for that.
Yeah, so originally I came in freshman year knowing that I wanted to do producing and business of entertainment, media, and technology. And that's essentially like, even you can be the shiniest apple, but sometimes people want oranges. And so I didn't want the lack of opportunity that I could get in casting to restrict like me being, active in our industry. And so I wanted to always, oh, thank you. But I just wanted to be prepared going into undergraduate, for to segue into, various situations. So, and also just looking at the industry, it's just when you see diversity, it's just like, oh, look at Hamilton, look at all these shows, we have colorful casts, and I mean,
Yeah.
you don't see it that much, but they often applaud the casting due to the cast that they have, due to like the actors that they have. But when you look at the directors on Broadway, when we look at even just in regional theater, just across the spectrum, we see you theater, like when you look at the directors, when you look at the writers, when you look at the producers, you do not
Yep.
see a lot of people who look like me. So
Right.
I kind of made it my mission to be that person who can say, yes, Black stories matter and can be produced on Broadway. Queer stories matter and can be produced on Broadway. And just
Yes.
in a greater sense, like they can be produced everywhere. And they are, my story is a human story. And I think audiences who don't, share my experiences can still feel the same empathy from those stories. So just that made me want to get into more of the producing and business as well. And public policy. When I was younger, I didn't even want to do acting. I wanted to be a lawyer, and I wanted to become the president of the United States.
Yes.
Public policy and management was, hey, love you, Aubrey. DSA, let's go. Public policy and management was more so just saying, how can I make the best positive impact in the world? How can I gain the tools right now to make the most positive impact in the world that I can, so that even with Black Lives Matter, with all these causes, I can jump to a not-for-profit, or I can jump into just any type of public policy model with governance or anything, and try to make a positive impact, even if I'm acting or whatever profession. I think that's just essential.
That's so great. And I respect that so much, especially, I mean, related to sort of what we were talking about, specifically in terms of acting with, yes, he did rock in Promenade. Thanks, Mom.
That's your
my
mom?
Yeah.
Oh.
Just like what you were saying about leaving behind the advice that you should just stick to your one type and just pursue that, and how you're going beyond that. And then, you're also doing all of these other, like you're studying these other facets of, life and performing. I respect that so much, because I think it's also kind of a bullshit to like limit yourself to one thing, especially if you have interest and talent in other areas, And I didn't really realize that until kind of recently. Like I was always like, if you want to do one thing, then just study that one thing and do it. Which is great, but I also think there's so much, oh, hey, Todd, thanks for tuning in. I think there's so much value in broadening, your horizons and your studies and your knowledge,
Yeah, that's why we're in college.
Hell
and
yeah.
if you are producing your own telecast, let's go.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, it's been cool, and it's so nice, like having this platform to like reunite with people like you. Like I saw you back in February, and like who knows when we'll see each other in person again, but seeing your face like today just literally made my life. Anyway, okay, next question. So obviously failure is a big part of this career, and it's something that we have to like figure out how to deal with as actors, and figure out how to like rewire our brains to like not crush under all of the failure. So I'm interested in this concept of failure, and I'm wondering, how has a failure, or maybe an apparent failure, set you up for later success? And do you have a favorite failure of yours?
Favorite failure, let's go.
Right?
I just think, you already know as an actor, they say 90%, but I feel like that's BS. Like I think 99% knows. Like most of the opportunities that you're receiving are just like it's the tip of the iceberg for all the work that you have put in terms of submitting, in terms of callbacks, in terms of all of these things. I think when a high school failure, I guess, was, so I went to DeKalb School of the Arts. It was a performing arts high school in Atlanta, Georgia. And then I came in as, vocal major, film minor. And I was like, yes, let's go. And then musical, every year we do, the big musical. And so my favorite musical is In the Heights. Freshman year, they did In the Heights. So I was like, oh my gosh, this is my moment. And, it was, I auditioned I sang the Piragua Guy song and then, keep scraping. It did not come out at all. And so callbacks did not ensue and casting did not ensue. But, I think that was just early on in like a high school, just like a failure that kind of motivated me to like always, even though, I still did the Black History Play Festival, like for that. And I still did other things. And so just like letting just the love for theater motivate me despite initial like onset failures, as we would say. But just I could name a dozen of those, or just like auditions or like professional callbacks where I'm like, oh my gosh, this could be it. And even when you put your all into it, you think you did a beautiful, fantastic audition, you don't get that call. And I think it's a muscle that you work, and it's a muscle that you get comfortable with. And I've been fortunate to have, like, every summer I've been able to, do a summer stock job, even with COVID, which is crazy.
I know.
Surf Light was the absolute last theater that I auditioned for. So it's just like after since September auditioning for summer stock, Surf Light was the absolute last thing that happened. So it's just
wow.
Yeah. So it's just, I think it's just failure is a part of the game, and you just have to keep on trucking along.
I mean, that's so true. And I bet I know that feeling when you're talking about you didn't get into your freshman year musical and you were so excited for it, because that happened to me too. I got to high school and I was so excited, and I auditioned and I didn't get in, and I was like, I was so sad,
Yeah.
Because we're just like little babies and we're so excited. And that was sort of like the first major failure for me as well. So I just know that feeling so well. And how did you, I feel like it gets easier as we get older and learn to deal with failure, but how did you deal with that as a 13-year-old kid?
How did I do
you remember how you
I was definitely
definitely
definitely, similar to freshman year at NYU when I auditioned for Next to Normal, and then no callback. But it's just, initially my life, more so high school, I'm like, my life's over. This is, I'm never going to act again. I'm terrible. But I think for that particular circumstance, what I did, I went to the teachers. I was like, hey, can I get feedback on my audition? And then just getting their feedback, that was kind of reassuring on okay, that whole year, I auditioned for a whole bunch of arts programs in Atlanta and then did not make the cut just because of, it is what it is.
It'd be like that. I know.
It'd be like that. And so that just motivated me to go this is what I want to do. And I got to train harder, I got to get better. And so I think that I was probably sad for a day, but
you turn it sounds like you turn it into fuel. You're
yeah.
Okay, I'm just going to go do the next thing.
Exactly. Yes, there are so many, not right now, but there are so many opportunities other than, if they don't want to be a collaborator, if they don't want to work with you, there are a million other people who would be happy to work with you. And even if that collaborator has to be you producing the content and you getting friends who, you know, want to make awesome art with you, if that has to be it, then that's it. But yeah, I think there's always a chance to, not a chance, there's always an opportunity to create.
I think so too. And I mean, something that I always think is like, what's meant to be will be. That might be like a little out there for some people, but it really does comfort me. Like I'm actually like, you know, if an opportunity is going to be right for me, then it's going to happen.
Yes.
And that doesn't mean you don't work hard or pursue things, but I don't know. That's something that I've taken comfort in, that sort of mindset when dealing with failure, because it does happen so much, you know.
Yes.
But all you can do is just
God's plan.
yeah. All you can do is just go on to the next thing.
Yes.
Hi, Sharon. I heard that the Broadway League is active in creating a training program for young, diverse general managers, etc. You might check that out.
I saw that. I was looking. Thank you, Sharon. Yes. Yeah, I was looking at that.
Sharon, thank you for tuning in. Sharon's super great. She is like the owner and artistic director of a really awesome local theater, regional theater here in Portland, Broadway Rose. Anyway, thanks for tuning in, Sharon. That's great. That's a great tip.
Thank you.
Let me see. Okay. So my favorite question that I always ask all my guests, since this is a networking show, who is someone that is not in your current network that you wish was, and then how would you go about getting them into your network?
Okay, what's my favorite show?
In the Heights.
Well, Hamilton. It was in the Heights then, but
Hamilton
was created.
Okay.
Hamilton.
Okay.
Lynn, I think, is the
oh my God,
favorite creator.
Yeah.
And so I really just want to be friends with him, and I just want to be mentored by him.
Oh my God, can you imagine?
Yes,
that'd be
and
amazing.
also, yeah. Joshua Henry as well. He's someone who's like actively trying to reach a hand back to like young performers. But yeah, Lynn. I would love for him to be in my network, but who wouldn't?
So how would you, I mean, it's like if you were literally like, okay, today I'm going to like take the first couple steps to get Lynn into my network, how would you do it?
So in my 10-step plan. Okay.
I love it.
I guess just trying to get involved with his productions, trying to get involved with people closely related to him, and slowly try to, you know, get into that creative process. But I think besides like classes, besides like you know, personal outreach, just because he is so famous, I think the best chance is just, you know, trying to do his work and trying to like get in circles that way.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean I think that's the way to do it, and having patience and just like knowing that the work he does it resonates with you, you know? Like I think that we tend to gravitate toward each other as artists when we feel like other people's work resonates with the work that we do.
Yes.
Yeah. So I can't wait to see you like collaborating with Lynn. I have literally no doubt that will happen.
That's my dream role. So my dream, people go like, well, my dream role is Amber, but like actual dream role is to lead a Broadway company in a show that Lynn wrote.
Kalanji, when that happens, I will be front row. I will be looking up at you, and like hopefully, you know, just you will be there and the spit will be raining down on me from your performance, and I'll just be like, yes, I knew him. I knew him back when.
Yes.
That's amazing.
Can't wait for your Oscar. Can't wait for the for the Emmy. Can't wait for the everything.
Yes. Well, thank you so much for being on the show. We're just about out of time, and I just seeing you and talking with you today, like, honestly made my whole day. So thank you for taking the time and sharing your wisdom with us.
Oh, okay. But thank you. Thank you for your time. Thank you for, just letting me be on and chatting with you. Yeah.
Of course. Thanks again. And yeah, hopefully I'll see you soon.
Yeah.
Not virtually.
Yes.
Yes, so if for everyone watching, you can find Kalonjee at his website, www.kalonjee.com, and or Instagram at kalon.g.
Yes.
Follow him. He's fantastic, obviously. Yeah. All right. Well, I'll let you go. Thanks so much, Kalonjee, for joining me again, and have a great weekend.
Have a great weekend. All right. See ya.
Bye. All right, y'all. Thanks so much for tuning in. That was another fantastic episode. I'm literally so glad that I decided to do this show on Fridays, because by the time I get to Friday, I'm like totally exhausted, and then I do this show and it like really invigorates me. So just thought I'd share that with you. Thank you so much for tuning in. And we have another episode next week. Super exciting guest that I will announce this coming week. So stay tuned for that, and have a great weekend. See you later.